and welcome to The Truth Will Not Be Silenced, the show that allows Black people to be seen, to be heard, and to be human. I'm your host, Melissa Woodfork White. In today's episode, we will talk about entrepreneurship with the young and up-and-coming Tyreek Wynn. We'll discuss the controversial topic of entrepreneurship and the importance of small businesses that needs to be shared that allows us to be seen, to be heard, and to be human. As a Black professional woman with over 28 years in the workforce, I am a business owner and I understand the challenges that most people of color face being a business owner. Sharing our stories allows us to be seen, to be heard, and to be human. There will be a special surprise at the end of the show. Be sure to listen all the way through for details. Our guest today is Tyreek Wynn. Tyreek is a graduating senior at Georgia State University in Atlanta, Georgia. He is the author of 2 books, Green is the Thing, Money Management for Kids, and How to Create Your Own TV Talk Show. He is the president of the National Association of Black Journalists at Georgia State University, the owner and CEO of Wynn Productions, LLC, a local family-owned video production company in Metro Atlanta, Georgia, and hosts multiple shows, including Tyreek on the Move, where he has interviewed tons of well-known celebrities. Tyreek currently has a show airing on local television in Atlanta called What's Your Business? He is also a real estate investor who bought his first investment property at the young, tender age of 21. Tyreek is going to share with us about entrepreneurship. Hi, Tyreek. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, thanks so much for having me. Beautiful, beautiful intro. I loved it.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and get right into it. How did you get started in entrepreneurship at such a young age?
Wow, great question. It was a lot of moving factors, I could tell you. So first thing first, my parents are entrepreneurs, both of them. Mom's in real estate. Dad is in landscape and has his own landscaping company. And so we also have a whole lot of entrepreneurs in the family. So it's kind of like in the Wynn bloodstream a little bit, if you want to say that. It's kind of like, if you're a Wynn, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be an entrepreneur. So because we have a lot in the family, aunts, uncles, cousins, you name it. So my mom wrote a book. And when she wrote a book, I saw, kind of the excitement she was having with it. And I said, I think I want to write a book too. So didn't know what I was going to write about. I said, they gave me the idea to write about money management because my parents taught me how to manage my money at a young age. So at 14 years old, boom, here it comes. Green is the Thing, Money Management for Kids. And so I wrote that book at the age of 14 to teach kids about the importance of saving and managing money. Mm-hmm. And you, as a teacher, that in some of these school systems, they are not teaching kids about money management, financial literacy. And it is so important because one day you're going to get out in the real world, you're going to have to pay bills, you're going to have to do all this stuff, and you need to know what to do. So I wrote the book to teach kids on what to do. Fast forward, started doing all these interviews. People invited me to do interviews. That's how I got the broadcast bug. Then 16 years old, created my own YouTube channel called Tyreek on the Move, which was the very first show that I started. And then at first when I did the show was a little on the bad side, so I had to make it a lot better. And then once the show got better, my parents thought I was serious. They said at 18, we're going to make a corporation. We're going to make this thing a business. We're going big time with it. I said, okay, great. 18 years old, 2018, here it comes, Wynn Productions, LLC, local video production company here in Metro Atlanta. And we do all types of video production for businesses. And that is how my entrepreneurial journey went. And it's been great ever since.
Awesome. So that leads me into the next question. First of all, I want to compliment your parents on doing such an awesome job raising you. I'm just going to say that you have been blessed. You have been blessed. And so with that being said, your parents are doing an awesome job with you and supporting you and all of those wonderful things. And so as a parent myself, because you already told everybody I'm a teacher, everybody knows I'm a teacher. And so, but as a parent myself, these are moments that we look on and we're like, yes, And so all the parents out there in the audience, they know what I'm talking about when I say yes. When you look at your child and they're succeeding and they're doing great and wonderful things, and you raise them to be this individual that can do these things, and coming from an entrepreneurial family and also in your extended family where you guys are entrepreneurs, it's just an awesome thing.
Thank you.
So you're very welcome. Going into the next question, how has entrepreneurship impacted economic growth? So when you answer this question, you're talking about it from your perspective as a young entrepreneur, talking about the creation of jobs and the community development impact and giving back.
Yeah, absolutely. It's affected it greatly. I can tell you that from my perspective, for Win Productions LLC back in actually during the pandemic, it's kind of crazy, but during the pandemic, we actually created some jobs. So what I did was we created a team of interns for the company because, it was us three. It's a family-owned company. It's kind of hard doing it yourself. I can tell you that you definitely need some help.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, let's go ahead and bring in some interns. So I was actually able to get some fellow college students, Georgia college students, and then some from around the country because some work was remote. And so we brought on 20 interns on Win Productions LLC. It was the most it was so exciting. For one, I was able to teach fellow students, about, production and stuff and entrepreneurship and all that stuff. And then the other side was that I was able to finally have some help and was able to build some amazing, long-lasting relationships. So we were able to do that, and we had the interns for a few months, and it was absolutely great. Also, when it comes to giving back to the community, we've had the chance. We love giving back. We've had the chance to do that. Yeah, we've had a chance to do that a numerous amount of times. And money wise, we've had the chance to give to some nonprofits, whether that be attending galas, attending big events like that, or whether it be just seeing a nonprofit at a networking event and blessing them with a check so they can continue to do the great work that they do within their nonprofit. And then also, not even with just money, just with time. Like I've had the chance to volunteer at the Ronald McDonald House, the Nicholas House, feeding the homeless, and just all types of great things. So I think giving back is really important because when you're blessed, you have to learn how to be a blessing to others as well, and you have to pay it forward. And I always say that I think it's great. So.
And yes, and so don't be shy. You guys have also worked with local governments. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we've had the chance to work with lot of government. First of all, working with governments is great. I love it. I believe the first government that we actually had a chance to work with was the city of Stockbridge. The city of Stockbridge actually, a shout out to them. They actually had the chance to they hired us to do their Small Business Saturday videos. And Small Business Saturday is the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Yes. So a lot of small businesses in the city of Stockbridge, so they hired us to do that. So it was great being able to work with the city, and then of course building that great relationship here in Clayton County. Love, I reside in Clayton County, went to school in Clayton County. I love it.
I'm a Clayton County resident.
Yes, Clayton County. So had a chance to work with Clayton County government, whether that that be with some of the local officials in Clayton County government, then also the Clayton County Chamber of Commerce, which we're members of. So it's been great.
Yes, and the importance is that the impact that Win Productions is having within the community and within the government, and being able to share wealth, create wealth, and also, creating jobs, creating income, and improving community development, which is awesome.
Thank you.
So as an entrepreneur, how has being an entrepreneur affected you? So this is where you get to tell us about your personal experiences, both positive and negative, and how you overcame them.
Great question. I can tell you that it's affected me in both ways, positive and negative. There were times where as an entrepreneur, like business was slow. Mm-hmm. No income coming in from my business. And it's like, what am I gonna do? But when it comes to stuff like that, God's got it. you cast all your cares on him. And yeah, and and when you have the Lord on your side, I mean, you can't go wrong. Everything is going to work out. Yes. And so, but I can tell you that has happened. There have been lots of times of frustration, and the way I overcame these things is I had to come up with different strategies. Okay, we don't have anything coming in right now. What can we do to get some stuff coming in? And obviously, like when the pandemic first started, nothing was happening. Nothing was happening around here. So, but then I was like, what are some things that we can do to kind of overcome, this thing? So I can tell you some of the things that I've done was started to pitch shows to networks, which is actually how we got, What's Your Business on local television here in Atlanta. So yeah, stuff like that. Going to more networking events, started to do that. Got business from, some people going to networking events, joined the Clayton County Chamber of Commerce, great resource. It has been awesome. So those are just some of the things that I had to do. And then positive wise, I mean, just being able to just have relationships with people. I can tell you, being a business owner has opened up so many doors, open up doors to being on television, open up doors to meeting tons of great people within the industry. It has been great. And then also it's great, like, because I don't have to go and work a 9-to-5, which and I can tell you, I have worked regular jobs. It did not work out for me. I've been in the restaurant business. Yeah. Did not work out. I was like, entrepreneurship is for me, because working regular jobs did not work.
I would tell you, as a young entrepreneur, you are dropping some gems, and it's very encouraging and uplifting. I will also tell you that two of the things that you've said, one, you talked about that entrepreneurship is not something that you do by yourself. And so that is very important, especially being a small business owner. Even though it's family owned, you still expanded and came up with different innovative ideas to, one, get income, to create jobs, and also to give back within the community. And I think that is important. And people hear it from adults all the time. You don't have to do it alone, but now they're hearing it from you, a young entrepreneur, saying that, you don't have to do it alone. And so it's something that's very important. That's key right there. And you learning that at a young age, kudos to your parents again. Kudos to your parents again. And so another thing that you brought up too is that when you, as an entrepreneur, the positives and the negatives, when you didn't have money coming in, you had to get innovative. Yeah. You had to start thinking of ways to generate income to keep your business going. And I think right there, that's how you overcame that, is because you were innovative. You were innovative. You immediately was like, what else can we do? What else can we do to bring in income and so forth? And then you experimented with that until you found those different sources of income to bring in money, which is awesome. And so the next question, sorry. How has recent events, COVID-19 pandemic, we can say pre and post, but we're still in it. It just keeps evolving. Changed entrepreneurship for the better or worse. So we want to hear about, the different news stories, the different sources, things that let us know how entrepreneurs and small businesses are doing due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, it's affected it in bad and good, I can say. I can tell you, when it comes to the bad side of things, when the pandemic first started, business had to shut down. Well, everything in our world had to shut down. And so when you have you have these obviously big corporations, then you have small mom and pop businesses, local businesses, and these businesses had to shut down for weeks. And when you shut down, you don't have any income coming in for your business. And if you're in a brick and mortar and you have your own spot, you still got to pay that. You still have to pay that commercial rent because those people still want their money. So it was, we had that going on. And also, what I also say now is the new pandemic is we don't have people going back to work now. there's been countless amount of times I have gone in stores. My family and I will go out to eat. We love going out to eat. We do it all the time. But when you go out to these places, like if I'm at the counter, I'll see two people working behind the counter, and I'm like, people aren't going back to work. You go to restaurants, 2, 3 servers. People aren't going back to work, and it's crazy. But I will say the positive side of things is that during the pandemic, new entrepreneurs were birthed.
Yep.
That is great. I love it. I'm all for entrepreneurship. Eat, think, sleep, breathe entrepreneurship. So we had lots of new business owners come out of the pandemic, which I think is fantastic. Lots of people were coming up with ideas. Like I can tell you during the pandemic, that's when I actually made that the book, How to Create Your Own TV Talk Show.
Mm-hmm.
So because there's tons of people who want their own show, podcast, all that stuff. So I was able to put that in the book, educate people there. And then also clothing line too came out of the pandemic. Sorry, me clothing line. I mean, come on. So I was able to do that too. And then also some other positive things about it is, people were actually able to get money. Government did send out stimulus and stuff like that. So those were some other positive things from it. But I think, but yeah, I think lots and then some businesses did thrive during the pandemic. Like, maybe if you had a hand sanitizer business, your business was booming.
Yes, any type of disinfectants.
Booming.
Yes. Well, you made a lot of good points about, because we started our business towards the end of 2019 and we were booming. Yeah. And then when COVID hit and then everything shut down, it was like, okay, we got to come up with, just like you, ways to generate income, because our business, we traveled to trade shows.
Yeah.
And we would sell at trade shows. We would go to different networking events, small business networking events and so forth, and conferences and things like that, and sell our products and services and so forth. And that is how we generated revenue for our business. And we were booming. And so when COVID hit, all of those events stopped. And so we were like, okay, so we're going to have to come up with something else. So we started doing some more online stuff and things like that to generate income and so forth. And so with that being said, the other things that you mentioned were how those mom and pop businesses, a lot of those mom and pop businesses did not survive COVID-19, even with government assistance. And it's very unfortunate. Some have been around 20, 30 plus years and they didn't survive it. So when everything was able to open back up, they weren't able to open back up because it had bankrupted them. But then you also touched on the fact that a lot of new businesses were birthed out of the pandemic and they're still thriving. And so it had its twofold, for better or worse, it had a twofold. And so with that being said, I want you to tell us, as a young entrepreneur, why is it important for you to tell us your story, and how does your story help others? Because I can tell you that, but I want you to tell our audience that.
Yes. Well, first, people love stories. Mm-hmm. They just do. People love a good story. And as a business owner, a story sells. Like sometimes, and I always say, like, if you're trying to, sell a product to somebody, or you're trying to pitch yourself, sell a business or whatever you're trying to do, instead of like selling the product, tell the story. Yeah. Because I can tell you, by you telling a story, that product is no sale. Period. If you have a powerful story, if you have a good story, that product is going to sell. That
I have to ask you, Tyree, where did you learn that? Because that's marketing 101. That's what I did in my business courses back at Howard University.
Yeah.
That's marketing 101. And so I have to ask you, where did you learn that? How did you know that a good story is what sells your product? Mm-hmm. Was that from your parents being an entrepreneur? Was that from your Georgia State University studies? How did you learn that? Because you're not a business major, but you are indirectly, because you are a business owner.
Yeah, thank you. My dad actually taught me that, because I was, I wanted to learn some sales, obviously, so, I can, bring some income in. And so within sales, he taught me that you got to sell the story. You got to tell that story, and that story is going to sell itself.
Mhm.
So when you tell that story, I mean, you're good. You a-okay. And so that's that part of things. And then also, I think when as a story, it is important to have a story ready, because people are going to ask you what your story is. Like
Mhm.
how you asked me as soon as we got on the podcast. Tariq, tell us your story. How did the business start? How did you become an entrepreneur?
Mhm.
Like you gonna tell this story over and over and over again. So very important to have a good story, and stories are great.
And yes, so how does you telling your story here today help others?
Yeah, I think it helps others because I feel like it's able to inspire people. I think that if you
Yes.
hear a 14-year-old writing a book on money management, I mean that's unheard of,
Exactly.
at least in my opinion. I think also it's to inspire because a teenage business owner created the business at 18 years old. I was a teenager. Most teenagers are using on this constantly,
Yes.
playing video games.
And for the audience, he showed us his cell phone and the technology that most are yeah, go. I got you.
Yeah, and so I think I think it inspires so many people, and I think hopefully by this interview that lots of people will be inspired to go out and start their own businesses, because I always say never too young, never too old. There are business owners who are way younger than me. I know
Mhm.
some business owners who are 8 years old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there are.
Yes.
I just read about some more this morning before we got on.
Yeah. And I know here in like I think it was like at one time I was invited, this is when I was much younger. One time I was invited to a pop-up shop where it was strictly just young business owners.
Mhm.
You got people from 5 years old to teenagers.
Mhm.
This is great. Like, that's awesome. I love that type of stuff. So I definitely think by me telling my story, it helps inspire others.
And I'm going to tell you that I'm in agreement 200% because this is the reason why I invited you to be on the show. Because one, you are a young entrepreneur. You started entrepreneurship at a very young age. Um, I said in the introduction, you purchased your first investment property at 21 and you are 21. And
Yeah.
so with that being said, I think it's important for our young people, especially our young people, to hear your story and let them know that they don't have to wait to start, that they
Yeah.
can start now. I also think that it's very important that everybody hears your story because it's just what you said. It's never too late. It's never too late. There's no age limit on you starting entrepreneurship or you starting your own business. And so, with that being said, this is where I want you to tell everybody how they can reach out to you, get your services, buy your products. I just want you to drop it for the audience right now.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Well, first, thanks so much for having me. It was absolutely a pleasure. Had a really great time. I do interviews, but it's always great to be on the other side of the interview, being asked the questions. So love that aspect. But yeah, well, first, guys, yes, you guys can go follow me on Instagram at TariqWynn_TV. That's TYRIKWYNN_TV. Also, same social media throughout, Facebook, Tariq Wynn TV, Twitter, Tariq Wynn TV, same thing. Also, here in Atlanta, Wynn Productions LLC, local family-owned video production company here in Metro Atlanta, specializing in all types of video production and professional videography services. So we specialize in TV commercials. You have a business, you need a commercial for your business. We do TV shows. You want your own show, we can film it. We also have our own shows that we film and produce. Video business cards, like I said earlier, something great, something new, something awesome. Event filming as well. Have big extravagances, gotta capture the moment on video. So all you gotta do is call us, pick up that phone, 754-225-2805, or you can send me an email, Tariq Wynn at wynnproductionsllc.com, TYRIKWYNN, and then Wynn Productions, it's WYNN, that's Wynn, then Productions with an S on the end, LLC.com. And so you'll be good there. That's how you can get in contact with us. Book Amazon.com, type in Green is the Thing, Money Manager for Kids, and how to create your own TV talk show on Amazon, and you'll be good to go. And that's all my stuff. So please go out and support and keep up to date on the journey, because the journey is still going. So.
All right. So for the audience, you guys get his books, get his clothes, purchase his services, support this young up and coming entrepreneur who's doing wonderful things, giving back to the community, impacting economic development on all areas. You guys reach out to him. So Tyreek, thank you so much for joining us on today. It was a pleasure. Now I do have to say this, and this because you brought it up earlier, but I didn't want to say this. But then I don't want my audience to be like, why didn't you tell us that he was your 7th grade student in your English language arts class? And so I am going to say that. So those of you that made it all the way through the end, he's my 7th grade student from my English language arts class, and he loved writing. So I knew that he was going to be a writer and write some things. I just didn't know to the extent of that. So as his teacher, his former teacher, I am very proud of you, Tyreek, for all of the wonderful things that you are doing. And once again, I give kudos to your parents because they instilled it to you and raised you to be the young man, successful young man that you are. I also want to say congratulations on your upcoming graduation from Georgia State University, which is an awesome, awesome accomplishment, great accomplishment, and continue to do great things. So once again, you guys reach out to him. You got his email, his number, his website. You have his social media handles. Reach out to him, support this young entrepreneur in his journey. So with that being said, next week, we'll continue to discuss controversial topics about race and have conversations about personal and professional experiences with racism, love, loss, employment, and education. Stories that need to be shared, seen, and heard that makes us human. The truth will not be silenced. To be seen, to be heard, to be human. The surprise. If you like and leave a positive comment about this show, you will get a shout out. This includes businesses, products, services, organizations, and events. Follow the link in the show note lets Buzzsprout know that we sent you and help support our show. Buzzsprout is the best way to launch a professional podcast. Want to ask a question, be a guest, or subscribe to this podcast, The Truth Will Not Be Silenced? Click the show link. Thank you for joining us today.